Nac and Marshall with our KTRE Sports Director, Ryan Smith. Ryan, break it down for us, my man.
Yeah, MC, I mean, to put it bluntly, it was pretty much a blowout, 42-0, the final score from Nacogdoches. Marshall kind of just ran away with this one after their first drive, went 3 and out, and then 4 straight touchdowns to end the half. Honestly, could have been 5, was about 5, 6, maybe 10-ish yards away from bringing back a last-second pick 6 to make it 35-0, but then obviously took their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half just to kind of maybe shorten things up there. Just 42-0, Marshall winning, and it was just a blowout for 48 minutes of that football game. I mean, and as much as, you know, Nacogdoches trying to backdoor their way into the postseason, you felt like this was sort of a must-win game. I don't love using that term, but you know, you look at next week's game against Texas High, who is undefeated so far this season, and then you have Mount Pleasant, who just beat the brakes off of Jacksonville earlier today. So 2 really tough matches to end the season, and things are looking, I don't want to say it's over, but it's going to be a uphill Mount Everest mountain to climb for them to sneak into the postseason. You
know, from the highlights that were on while you were talking, I didn't know they could throw the ball, because when they came here weeks ago, they scored 8 consecutive touchdowns and just ran the ball. And so, I mean, they got something up their sleeve, but it makes sense. If you can run the ball and you suck them in, now you can throw the ball. So they're more than a single dimension team, are they not, Marshall?
Yeah, no, they 100% are, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact, like you said, the run game being so effective as it was, but I think a lot of it tonight was just based on the size that they had at those pass-catching positions. I mean, the second touchdown of the game they had wasn't in the highlights, but, I mean, the quarterback, Alton Jefferson, just basically lobbed up a 50-50 ball to his wide receiver, and he came down and made a great catch in a one-on-one situation like these wide receivers are supposed to be doing nowadays. But I think just the size was a big part of it. And then on top of that, like you said, having a really good running attack, like you said, sucks in the defense, forces more players into the box to try and stack up, you know, force these short gains. And then you have those one-on-one situations in the end zone or down the sidelines to where you can throw up those one-on-one balls to those towering wide receivers, and especially with DBs that just quite simply aren't tall enough and maybe don't have enough jump to contest with a lot of these one-on-one matchups. And I think that's kind of what we saw in a lot of these touchdown passes tonight from Marshall.
Before I let you go, where does Nac go from here?
I mean, at this point, it's just, like I said, it's a long shot for them to make the postseason at this point. You'd have to have just one of the biggest upsets of the year, really, in the entire state, really, against Texas High, and then have to win Mount Pleasant to even have a shot at making the playoffs. And I personally don't really see that happening. So I think maybe you look towards some of the younger guys that you plan on having bigger roles in next year's team, and kind of just working them in, getting them some experience against some good football teams, especially next week. But just in general, maybe working in some of these guys and kind of building towards the future instead of, you know, worrying about the right now, as unfortunate as that is.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's KTRE Sports Director Ryan Smith. Ryan, thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it.